It's time to feel some holiday rage. Welcome to Film Rage and our annual Krampus special. Lumps of coal for everyone, unless you've been really naughty, then brace for a visit from Krampus. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the Christmas rage. My name is Bryce and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey,
Bryce. And Murray, who I know will be getting a visit from Krampus. Hey there, Merman.
I'm a good boy.
Yeah, that's not what I heard.
I'm a good boy.
Plus, a very special episode requires a very special guest. It is the nerdy photographer himself, Casey, who is definitely getting a visit from Krampus, as he has put us through unspeakable horrors on our podcast with his putrid bag of remakes in our Rage or Day Stare segments. Hey there, Casey, you stinking bastard.
Bring the rage. He's a filthy animal.
All of it.
Yes. So, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Oh, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, and share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible movie. And you know what? We'll watch it if it played in cinemas somewhere. Now, let's get to Krampusing. But first, let's do an intro with Casey.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, guys?
This is our favorite time of year, not because it's Christmas time, because it's Krampus time. And if there's one thing Film Ragers love most, it's motherfucking Krampus.
I love to get a little Krampus on. It's one of those things. I love watching Krampus knocked celebrations from around the world. I'd love to see people from the United States, where I'm at. I'm not from the Great White North, but seeing people go, why can't we have that here? It's because people would ruin it somehow. That's why.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't have it here.
They would commercialize it somehow. And Krampus is not for commercialization.
The sure way to get whipped with a chain and dragged out into the woods and put in a sack and eaten.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's nothing better than being eaten by Krampus. At least that's what Mrs. Claus says.
Oh,
but we'll talk about that later. So tell everybody who's listening, who doesn't already know, because, we constantly talk about you as much as possible on our show. What is the Nerdy Photographer, and why should everybody know about this?
The Nerdy Photographer is a website and podcast where I share informational and entertaining stuff about photography, but occasionally also just some nerdy stuff like movies and comic books and things that I enjoy. You can find the Nerdy Photographer on your preferred listening platform, or you can find me on pretty much all of the socials at the Nerdy Photo.
Sweet. Well, thanks for sharing that with our listeners. And our listeners have been waiting an entire year to hear what Krampus films we're going to talk about this year. And seeing as how there was only one horror movie that was playing in North America, we went and saw, all of us, all
individually,
Violent Night. So, Bryce, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you thought of Violent Night?
Violent Night is not especially original, borrowing from many films before it. Angry Drunk Santa is nothing new, as Bad Santa and Fat Man had already covered the topic. We also have a youngster building booby traps to thwart the efforts of home invaders. That sounds a little like Home Alone. Although the results of the contraptions are a little more deadly in this story. David Harbour puts all he has into this performance and is one of the bright spots of this project as he portrays jolly old Saint Nick. Santa finds himself in a deadly situation in the midst of a home invasion as he is dropping off his presents. He decides to stay and help the selfish family of one of the children, young Trudy, as she is on his nice list. And because his reindeer take off on him. Santa pulls himself together and fights the bad guys. Apparently, before he was Santa, he was quite the killing machine, as depicted in several scenes showing him offing some various nefarious characters. From here, there's a lot of killing and quite a bit of gore. For the most part, this film is a bloody good time. However, it tries a little too hard towards the end to make me give a crap about this horrible family. This attempt is not effective at all. I care about Trudy, and I care about Santa. And that is all. Any attempts to make me care about anyone else in this is an exercise in futility. That attempt really dampened the ending for me. Still, David Harbour's Santa was worthwhile, and a lot of this was very entertaining, with more than a couple of laughs and enough gore to satiate my lust for blood. What I'm trying to say is Violent Night was meh.
Okay. Now, Casey, where did you get to see this in your fabulous city?
There's a, I can't remember the Cinemark theaters near where I live in New Jersey, and got to see it in the full, like basically their extreme viewing and audio setup.
Like AVX, we call it up here, I think.
IMAX,
Yeah.
AVX,
It's like
rumble
whatever it is.
seats, whatever.
Yes,
They come up with now.
We didn't get. We don't have haptics in the seats.
Oh, you didn't get the rectum seats?
I want that for. There's apparently there's a place in Staten Island, New York, that has like the full haptic
Oh, wow.
seats, everything, and they did Top Gun, the Maverick, like you were moving around in conjunction, like you're not doing the full G's or anything, but like it was
The
I
cockpit,
want to
yeah.
go there and like.
That sounds horrible.
No,
Yeah,
sounds
it sounds horrible.
Sounds awesome.
Now, okay, what about the seedy underbelly of New York? Because, being Calgary, we barely have anything seedy here. Is there any ones that actually have the actual rectal theaters where instead of getting just the rumbling, you actually get penetration in the seat while you're watching?
Those theaters used to be on 8th Avenue outside of Times Square, and you'd have to pay extra.
Oh,
for those
I'm
seats.
up for that always. So, what did you think of Violent Night?
Violent Night. Ho, ho, holy shit. Violent Night certainly lives up to its name. After giving us just the right amount of exposition and introducing us to our main players, including David Harbour's world-weary Santa, the movie delivers a steady stream of inventive and increasingly gruesome kills and witty one-liners. What I was not expecting from this movie was the very earnest and heartfelt relationship between Santa and young Trudy, and Santa's journey from reluctant bystander to bloodthirsty marauder. The movie knows exactly what it is, and if you're going to try to pick this movie apart, I will plug any holes, Bryce, you find with Christmas magic.
There you go.
Also,
magic.
while I loathe the term instant classic, I will make an exception for this movie, as it is now going in my yearly
There you
Christmas
go.
movie rotation. I give this movie 2 mead horns and a bloody hammer way up Mondo.
Oh,
Wow.
Well, I know what I like to plug Christmas holes with, but perhaps that's a little different than you. If you like every Christmas movie ever made, especially Home Alone, Die Hard, Christmas Vacation, or any Hallmark movie ever created, but add in an annoying family, friendly morale or moral, or goodness drenched in blood by Santa Claus, then look no further. There were a lot of great kills, and David Harbour was pretty great as Santa. On top of that, we got a surprise visit from Krampus, which was a little bit of a surprise for me. Just for our Krampus episode.
Yes. There was a Krampus.
Right? There was a
Yes,
Krampus.
there was a Krampus.
So that was a surprise.
And he was easily the best of the
He was
bunch.
the best, yeah. But god damn it, do we really need that much backstory for a murderous Santa and his giant hammer story? Plus, really, why are we putting CLFs in this type of movie? Who is this for?
I liked her.
Is that, yeah,
did
I'm not
too.
saying I didn't like her, But do we really need
was not a
do we
kid's
really need a
movie.
Yes.
6-year-old running
Not a
around
kid's movie.
to make this more family friendly? Are people going to take their
No.
6-year-olds to watch
don't
this
think-
to
What?
connect with her?
Where are you going?
And then as they watch Santa bash 20 dudes' skull in with his hammer, and how did our wuss of a Santa go from zero ass bag to here on the turn of a dime? There was so much to hate about this movie,
covered
and
that.
very little that I liked. So I'm in a quandary. Were the Santa kills worthy of keeping this film on my naughty list?
Do tell.
Were they?
When I walked out of this movie, I was so angry at this movie because I was expecting it to be the part like halfway into it when Santa got his balls and started fucking hammering the shit out of everybody. But instead, we got so much backstory on this stupid family that was annoying.
Okay.
And I like to stuff things in Christmas holes, but this was not for me. I'm gonna give it a low meh, just because I really did love all the kills. Every kill was fantastic. So for that, it gets a meh.
All right. What's the merman think?
Well, unsurprisingly, I am of a completely different opinion than Jim, because I
You're more of
love
a Casey
Christmas.
That's true. He does love Christmas.
I'm wearing a Christmas sweater right now
He
because I
is.
love Christmas. Yeah, Die Hard meets Home Alone.
Yeah.
So the tagline goes. I know they throw it up on the screen every time you see a promo for it. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much what they were going for. That's all you need to know about this film, really. Bad guys break into the mansion of an evil millionaire matriarch, kill all the staff, and hold the family hostage while they break open the safe to steal $300 million, which isn't even hers anyway. There's a cute kid building booby traps a la Home Alone. The plot twist is ripped right out of Die Hard 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like the worst plot twist ever. Like, yeah, we saw that coming. At the center of this is old Kris Kringle, a drunken, out of shape, and somewhat cowardly Father Christmas. Except he's trapped, and these guys are messing with kids at Christmas. That's from Home Alone 2, by the way.
Yeah, this whole movie is from another movie.
The Bryan Adams montage alone made this a mondo for
I
me.
knew as soon
this
as
was coming.
as soon as it's something about Christmas time. I'm like Murray is like
I was laughing my ass off
was
for
having
3.5 minutes.
He was having a Santa-gasm.
It's my favorite Christmas song by my favorite Canadian musician.
Yep.
Literally every time it comes on the radio, I start singing because I love this song, and to just watch him like wage bloody war for this, Yuletide classic. Oh my God, it was priceless. And for all the guns in this movie, the best bloody deaths were courtesy of Father Christmas and his hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a true Viking, which he was.
And you know another word
Another
for
reason
hammer.
for me to love it. David Harbour was awesome. It was a bit too long. There was about 30 minutes of too much exposition
Yeah,
in the middle
thank you.
there. But hell yeah, a bloody good time. And I was going to give this a meh. But Casey talked me into it. I will give it a mondo. It is now on my holiday watch
Sweet.
list.
Yes.
Ho,
Yes.
ho, ho.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Ho, 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 all right.
I loved it.
Okay, so here's my biggest complaint about this movie. I am not a nostalgia person. You all know that about me. I cannot stand when they can't come up with an original script. How difficult is it to not try and copy every fucking Christmas movie that's ever been made?
yeah, but part of its charm is it did copy like every
it paid
Christmas
homage.
movie.
Exactly.
I think that was the
That was the point.
it knew what it was.
I mean,
It did
they
not try to come in saying, "Oh, this is going to be a brand new thing that you've never seen before." Like Murray said, every tagline is "Home Alone meets Die Hard."
they
And
even
it
mentioned
was.
Home
It's
Alone
just like
a few times during the movie. Like they talked about
when
the
when the
movie.
kids making the booby traps.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, Home Alone, huh?"
Worked at Home Alone.
Yeah. Yeah, and the plot twist that you saw a mile coming away, I was just like, yeah,
That happened in Die Hard
knew.
too.
I just knew.
Yeah.
And this is like, but there were also just these. I mean, I thought using Beverly D'Angelo
Oh, that was
as the
that was
Yeah.
horribly
genius.
bitchy,
Mrs.
Genius
Griswold
Yeah.
from like my second
And-
Christmas movie.
Fucking the Jean-Claude Van Damme wannabe
Oh yeah, right.
boyfriend or husband.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
The actor.
Well, Beverly D'Angelo in this
Parkour.
was what made.
that was even a reference to the Office.
I,
when
he,
I think I missed that one.
Jumps over the couch. He's like parkour.
Oh, is that from The Office?
Yeah.
No.
See, I don't know. I can't. I'm not a big fan of that type of film.
I totally am.
like originality in film.
Yeah.
I could have just watched Home Alone
There is
at the
no
same time I
originality
was
left.
watching Die Hard, and the same time I was watching a real good Krampus movie, and I would have been happier. Come over to Bryce's. He's got 7 screens. I'll just watch every Christmas movie, including Hallmark favorites, because that was full in this shit bag.
My setup
And
actually has 9 screens.
9 screens. So really, I could have just watched 9 Christmas movies at the same time, and I would have got the
Like
same
the Jungle
message.
Room.
So
Sort of
if
like
you're
the
gonna
Jungle
give me
Room in some
Krampus
ways.
with a hammer, I want fucking Krampus with a hammer
He
through the
wasn't
whole
Krampus,
movie.
He was Santa.
He was
Santa.
good. And the thing is, like you were saying, like how does he just go from like weak to suddenly? There is a build there.
Yeah.
I
There's a
didn't
build
find
from
it.
like
It
I
pissed
felt
him
it
off.
was like he was trying to escape. He was a big puss for the whole part of. He's like, I'm not gonna help these people. Even how he was already connected with the little girl, and then he's like, oh now.
Sometimes
guy.
a switch gets turned
That's right.
on, and that's
Except
it.
that
You
dude
don't
with the
mess
eye
with
the-
kids at Christmas.
Yeah, well, he should have thought that from the beginning.
But he was drunk. Yeah, sober up a
He-
little.
You can only take so much.
He's got Christmas magic. He doesn't get Christmas drunk.
I thought that the kills also in this movie. Let's go back to something we all agree on.
Yes.
Kills in this movie.
Oh yeah,
The star was
Man.
awesome.
The star.
the
the
star
eye.
was good. The I love the one when she goes up to the attic. Those scenes.
Yeah.
are
Oh, yeah, the
my
booby
favorite,
traps, yeah, which
with the
literally
booby
killed
traps where
people.
the
Right.
guy lands on his head on the
snowblower.
Yeah.
the snowblower.
Home Alone would have been over in like 10 minutes if
Yeah.
Kevin had used those traps.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Exactly.
way to go,
Because it
stupid
also it
Kevin.
addresses like a lot of people like there's a lot of YouTube videos out there about what there's a whole subclass of stuff about what damage the Home Alone booby traps
Would have actually done.
do.
Yeah.
So like this is straight out like we're just gonna straight up do like what would they have actually done to people?
Yeah, we just killed them.
My favorite part of this movie though was like when John Leguizamo he's telling the bad guys what he brought them for Christmas and he knows all of their names and they're and like the 2 henchmen are like he's really Santa Claus.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, don't be stupid out loud.
Yeah.
I think is going to become a
Yeah,
line.
he called one of the women a
Don't
moron.
be
Don't be an
stupid
idiot or
out
something
Yeah,
like
don't
that.
be stupid.
I know you're stupid, but don't be stupid out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John
That's
Leguizamo's
classic.
always good. Like
Always
he
good.
just
A little over the top here.
he
but
was
he was supposed to.
I would say it's not his best, but
No.
I would
he's
say
no Hans Gruber.
yeah,
He's-
yeah. I
he's
mean, in a good comparison,
Doing a lot
right?
of scenery.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
he
was. So looks like we have a bit of a mixed bag of
Yeah.
chips. Nobody completely hated it because there still was some redeeming qualities, and 2 of you are now going to watch this every year when Bryce and I watch something better.
Yep.
You do that.
You know how many Christmas movies I like? Seriously though, I love Christmas movies.
Yes, me
I
too.
watch like probably 60 Christmas
You and
I'm
Murray
not-
got
I'm
to
not
set
quite
up some watch
that
parties.
far, but yeah, I own quite a few.
You guys should
movies.
set up some
Because I'm
watch
usually
parties.
at home editing photos, and I'll just turn on.
Yeah.
But I choose them. I don't list like.
Oh yeah, well, my mother, she tapes pretty much every Hallmark movie ever on. Like there's 50 of them on our PVR, and I'm like, this is just garbage. Like I hate anything to do with romance, but it's like the old
That
fashioned
Lindsay
stuff.
Lohan one on Netflix, though, I gotta say,
God.
is actually
Yeah.
is actually not bad.
Who doesn't love Lindsay Lohan? She's fantastic.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I can't argue
Guy
with
know
that.
Lindsay
She's great.
Lohan's awesome. I wish she wouldn't have got drunk and stupid.
Yeah.
She's recovered now.
Well, get her back into movies.
Now she's just talentless.
Is this new movie? What? She's not talentless.
She's not talentless.
Lindsay Lohan's the most talented child actor
She used
that's
to
ever
sing.
lived.
She doesn't do that anymore.
Well, I don't know. I've gone
She's
quite
her
that
voice.
far, but
Pretty close.
Anyway.
So, the other one we got to see, which we're in discussion about, because I know we've talked about this movie. Murray thinks we've
I know,
talked
I
about
talked
it on the
about it
show.
before.
But we're going to talk about it again, because guess what?
Jim says so.
It's got Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus.
This has everything you need for a Krampus horror holiday classic. Bit part by one of our Canadian gods,
Yes.
Will the Shat.
Bill.
say that again.
In one of his most festive roles, we get stupid trespassing teenagers, changeling children, undead evil elves, murder, mayhem, and of course our hero Krampus, causing all kinds of ruckus, with an exceptional evil German ant, and as always, the fantastic Julian Riching sighting. He is great in everything. This has so many layers of great horror fun. The film is bringing together 4 Christmas stories, one more satisfying than the next. It's like getting a bunch of extra special Krampus presents for the price of one, for all the good little ghouls and boils. The weakest one, in my opinion, of the bunch was the trespassing teenagers, but even then, it still had some great jump scares and spookiness to it. The whole Santa segment is fun, with cursing evil elves trying to kill the Clauses. The douchebag nephew and his twit of a son who releases Krampus was also fun, but my favorite is definitely the changeling Christmas tree stealing family, because we know children are creepy little fuckers, but our little changeling CLF has that 3% factor of playing creepy so well. I love this little creepy kid. This film ties up nicely, and just like most good Krampus films, the wicked will be punished, and we get the best present of all, a motherfucking Krampus film. I love this movie. It was Mondo for me.
Mondo, wow.
Yeah, I loved it.
All right.
Now that's a Krampus movie. Everybody's dying everywhere. Nobody lives, even the people that you think are good.
What say you, Murray?
Maybe my memory is going. I could swear I've seen and talked about this movie on the podcast before. But I digress. I definitely remember the Shatner as Dangerous Dan. The problem with this film is it is 4 stories in one.
Yes, it's good.
Instead of running each story back to back, the film runs them simultaneously throughout. So you jump around from each story. And the problem I had was I found half of the stories cliched and boring. The pacing was way too slow. Nothing happens till about halfway through the movie. The Santa and Krampus scenes were awesome. Too bad the whole movie wasn't about them. And that there's always the Shat. He made it a watchable meh. That's all I got. Please don't make me watch this again.
All right, Casey, you're up.
All right. Well, a Christmas horror anthology, you say? I'm certainly game. And this film has some real production quality to it. I will say that. The Krampus effects, the Santa fight, the zombie elves, really well done. Where this film stumbles is in writing and execution. I agree with Murray.
Thank you.
It is very uneven, and trying to overcome that by weaving the 4 stories together throughout the film just exposes that weakness more to me. William Shatner is pitch perfect as Dangerous Dan, the radio DJ, with his messages to listeners growing more cryptic and foreshadowing as the film goes on. While the stories of Santa and the zombie elves and the changeling were both heartbreaking and creepy with great twists, the other 2 stories, however, struggled to retain my interest and play as overused tropes so much that their twist endings had no real impact. I give Christmas Horror Story 1 thumb, a broken Krampus statue up, and it's a meh.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think me, Murray, and Casey all watched the same movie, except all of you enjoyed it more than I did. A Christmas Story is a little too ambitious for its own good. Telling all these stories simultaneously just took the momentum away from every tale as we jumped from story to story, making it impossible to invest in any of this. The spooky school basement story was boring. The Krampus story had some potential but has a dud of an ending. The Kid in the Tree has its moments, but ultimately fizzles out. And Santa being battling homicidal zombie elves was entertaining, but felt a little out of place, although the writers did eventually tie this all together, sort of, which in itself was a Christmas miracle. And I will say I enjoyed George Buza's performance as Santa Claus. If there's one thing in this movie I really enjoyed, it was actually his performance. That's it.
What?
William Shatner's Dangerous Dan, a local DJ, added nothing to this. I disagree with you guys about that. It just made this agonizingly longer because we had to sit through his segments as well. A Christmas Story is actually a mondo. A Christmas Horror Story is a rage.
What? You're crazy. So here's my defense on this. I love shorts. Shorts are probably my favorite type of film.
But do you like them when you get to watch 2 minutes of it
Or
and
the
then
same time.
and then go to
Yes.
another one and watch 2 minutes of it,
Yes.
and then go to another
love
one,
shorts
watch,
too,
then
yeah.
go back to the first one
Yes.
and watch another 2 minutes.
Yeah, because I can compartmentalize in my brain.
No.
I love
You're a
shorts
better
too.
man than I
I
am.
love Creepshow.
Yeah.
I talk
Yeah.
about horror anthologies.
Yeah.
Creepshow. I
Tales
felt
from the
that
Dark
this movie
Side.
was trying to be Trick or Treat.
Mm.
Trick
Yeah.
or treat.
Yeah.
Not trick or treat.
Yes.
More
Yes.
about the musician.
Yeah.
It was trying to be trick or
Agreed.
treat. But it didn't have like each individual story wasn't strong enough to have its own place. I felt like Changeling and Santa could have been their own story, and they were weaving Santa in there, obviously for the twist at the end, which I thought was actually pretty good. But like those other two, the school basement and the family, the Krampus family, I just felt like there's not really anything going on in either of these stories. That kid was fucking creepy.
Yeah, that CLF
I'll
kid.
give you that.
That
The
alone
hand-
made it great.
I know it wasn't the kid actor, but the hand under the sheets, I was just like, that really like.
Yeah, trying to finger bang his mom was kind of. There was a lot of point. See, I like movies that creep me out in the sense of make it feel awkward. Like, here's your child trying to finger bang you. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
this
that's-
is not
that was
comfortable,
weird.
which I like.
Definitely, I just felt like the Krampus and Santa fights were great. I thought that Krampus whatever the suit, that shit was awesome. Like that was like a
Yeah.
really well done Krampus. The Santa performance, Bryce, like you said, that guy was great.
Yeah.
Everything was great there. Like the whole fights with the elves. I just felt like the basement, the school basement thing. I was just like, I can see where this is going. 100 miles away.
Yeah.
And the other one, I didn't care about anybody in the family. Krampus stalking them.
Yeah.
Which made it good though that they all died. Though.
Yeah, they all deserve to die.
Unlike the
Except
other
the
movie,
girl
where
who
they
turns
didn't.
into Krampus at the end, and I was just like, what?
That made it good.
Did it?
Yeah.
That
I like the
made
fact
it good.
that's why I liked it. She turned into Krampus.
All right.
Sorry.
I mean, just
Essence
gave us
of
more
Krampus.
another Krampus shot.
That's right. The important thing in this is that we got some Krampus.
We did.
Got a little Krampus on the side.
That's right. Could never get enough Krampus. All right. Well, again, we've got another one, which we all don't agree on, which
No, we won't.
which makes for awesome fun for Krampus.
Makes for good discussions.
Now, we're moving on to our Rage or Dare of the episode.
This week on Rage or Dare, I dare the boys to watch the 2018 low-budget Christmas horror film, Sleigh Bells, starring Barry Bostwick and Richard Mole. Will the boys find the bells kill it, or will the only thing they slay be our patience?
Nice.
Classic.
Oh, baby. Murray, you got to see some sleigh balls.
I saw something. Am I starting this?
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Got me at the end here, but I'll start. All right. First, let me talk about Barry Bostwick.
Yes. Can never talk enough about
Hands
Barry Bostwick.
down, the nicest and most down-to-earth, famous person I have ever met. I had a chance to spend about 15 minutes talking to him at his autograph table, because nobody else was around, and he was just as awesome as I imagined he would be. Before I ever saw Rocky Horror, I didn't see it till I was an adult, basically.
Like last year, I think.
Well, no,
we saw
like
it.
20 years ago, but I grew up with Ace Hunter and Megaforce. That was my movie when I was like 11. The good guys always win, even in the 80s. My point is,
That's the worst.
I would have to say Bostwick does cheese like nobody else. Like Cheetos cheesy. This film is no exception. He's a badass Santa, foul talking, ass kicking in his leather jacket. The other 95% of the cast was horrible. Though there was a brief flash of nudity that almost made it worthwhile. As Krampus creatures go, this one was actually pretty good. For such a low budget film, it was actually very well done.
All the budget was in
In the
that
effects.
costume.
Krampus, yeah.
And the blood effects were top notch. Kills were awesome. If you're looking for anything beyond that, this movie is not for you. Not a Mondo, obviously, but I found it an enjoyable meh. I leave you with this.
Okay.
Santa brings you gifts. Krampus shreds your ass. That was his line. Okay, one more.
Okay.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Bitches. Those are my two favorite lines.
And this is a good segue because no one likes to tear ass like Bryce.
That's true.
Apparently, we're going backwards. Okay.
Yes, so. Who follows the rules?
Sleigh Bells was not all bad. Barry Bostwick as Santa was entertaining, and Krampus actually looked pretty good considering how bad everything else looked in this. And that covers all the good in this.
That's what I said.
The bad is everything else. The music is awful. This music, what in the hell was going on?
Open source.
I just stop, and it kept on going, and it played over everything.
I know.
Stop.
There's times where you couldn't hear the dialogue.
Yeah, because the music was too
Oh
loud.
my god. It was supremely distracting. There's scene after scene that was just filler as we see the adventure girls frolic around pointlessly. The editing is next level bad. Plus, at the very beginning, there is a scene that shows everyone that survives. We then go back in time 12 hours, and basically, the rest of the movie leads us back to that initial scene. This, of course, kills any suspense, as everyone in that opening scene that is seemingly in peril throughout the film is obviously going to be okay until we get back to that point. Why did they think this was a good idea? The whole project
A lot of movies do that.
whole project is a frustrating mess with bad special effects and bad dialogue and bad acting. And let me make this clear. This is not one of those so bad it's good situations. This is just bad. This is a rage.
That'd be why it's on Tubi.
I love Tubi. Okay, so acting is not a thing that was a priority in this film. It's already been discussed.
Yes.
That is fairly evident in 2 minutes in. That's not what I think they were going for, though.
No,
it might be the black marker written on knuckles pretending to be tattoos by
That
our
was
bar
pretty
date. That was absolutely hilarious. The quality shaken cam shots also make this a Christmas present, or maybe it's the shots that are actually not even in focus. This film just keeps delivering these kind of presents for quite a while. It was great to see Barry Bostwick still working, and if people who are listening don't know who he is, just rewatch Rocky Horror and look for Brad in his tidy whities now. The best thing about this movie was this was actually a surprise Krampus film that Casey
right.
didn't even know was a Krampus film when he invited us to watch it on the Krampus episode. Krampus. Yeah, I kind of like saying Krampus, especially on Krampus Day. Oh, Krampus. It didn't seem right, though, seeing Krampus without snow. I'm not sure really. Krampus is like a winter demon, so That was a bit of a problem for me. The biggest issue with this movie, other than everything, was there was way too much gabbing with Santa and not enough Krampusing. This is one of those movies I think you need to be in the mood, because there are a few things in it that are really quite funny. The fact that Mrs. Claus leaves Santa and makes Krampus her fuck toy, plus Krampus's hairy balls. This had so many little bits in it that made me laughing through the entire movie.
Pretty sure he'd hate a boner at one point.
But yeah, that's right. But this movie, although the plot is very thin and it feels like too much running from place to place without a lot of meaning most of the time. But damn, any Krampus horror movie is still a fun ride. This film was awful, but it was still fun watching because just knowing Krampus banged Mrs. Claus almost made this a Mondo. But it still made it a meh, because I thought I liked So Bad It Was Funny, and especially when the effects were good.
It wasn't,
I still didn't mind it.
Mm.
All right, King of Krampus.
King of Krampus. This film, when I picked it out, I will say it was only because I saw Barry Bostwick and Richard Mole. I thought Richard Mole is going to play Krampus or some sort of villain. Barry Bostwick and Richard Mole were the only people who knew what movie they were in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they, like, to the hilt. Like, Richard Mole shows up at the end as the kind of the cop who isn't sure what's going on, but he is 100% committed to his role in this shitty horror film. And it is the beginning of this movie where we're just getting like so many handheld shots where it's like, oh, is this gonna be like a Blair Witchy type of thing? We've got the adventure girls who are these scantily clad, minxes or whatever. And it's like, okay, there's horror films, there's going to be some nudity, and there's like one brief
side
2-second
shot, side boob shot, and then it's it. And I was thinking like, okay, who are these people? Are they actually actors? And the main girl is a voice actor. She does a lot of voice acting. She does a ton of video games, as does Mrs. Claus. So she's like got a career.
Yeah.
The other two girls are both influencers.
Of course.
One is
not actual actors.
one is I guess she does like psychic and like spooky stuff. And the other one is just sort of disappeared off of even the influencing scene. But it's like there's no acting ability whatsoever.
Nope.
It was the amount of fake shemping, and I think in this movie that really, I don't know if you're familiar with that term from the Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah,
it's just like you have these shots of people's hands
Yep.
or other things. There are so many fake shots in this movie, like just as filler. Like you were saying, Bryce, is just like everywhere. Like every 3 shots, there's just a shot of like a hand or a breast or like a leg or a foot. It's just it seemed like, okay, we got to get 10 seconds in here to fill this. Let's get a shot of somebody's feet. It's just like there's a leg here. We got to fill this in. Oh, let's get some, like shaky cam footage of them walking through Santaland, which has absolutely no Santa themed
and no
anything.
snow.
There's no snow. The most that we have are those like cardboard candy canes that they have up at the very beginning. The funniest thing is when they're trying to tell them what rides to go and hide in, and it's like none of them are Santa themed. You go by the Bumblebee ride. You go.
Yes.
I was cracking up at how bad it was in that sense. The hairy balls. Oh my god! When they start talking about the hairy balls and they attack them, I was just like, I lost my shit.
Yep.
There's also the moment when they were trying to get out. When it kills the boyfriend who shows up out of fucking nowhere, and Krampus just like spears him through the great kill, whatever, and you're just like, ah! And they're trying to get out, and they're pounding on a door that to get out, that opens inward.
Yes.
And it was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, but the best moment, and to me, and like I said, Barry Bostwick knew what movie he was in. He shouts Mazel Tov. And it's a throwaway. It's just, I don't know if they probably not scripted, because I looked up this company that produces, and it's all a bunch of low budget. This company that made this film. It was a bunch of like super low budget, mostly exploitive ladies topless sort of like films.
And yet none of them showed up in this movie.
Exactly.
Right.
To Murray's
exactly.
point.
It felt like, that's why I say this film didn't quite know what it was. It didn't know which direction to go, like commit to.
Yep.
Whereas, Barry Bostwick and Richard Mole were like, okay, this is going to be cheesy. We're just going to go for it. And like this movie didn't seem to, whoever was in charge of this movie didn't seem to know which direction to go in. Which is why, also the ending. This movie, it escalated super quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like the whole front part was filler. It's like, let's just fill it with nothing, and then they said, let's just quickly just end this because we added too many leg shots in there.
Right, we had like people walking by, or a foot, a hairy ball biting a foot, or something like that. Yeah, it was just like. By the end, when you get the great reveal with Mrs. Claus as fucking Krampus, you're like, oh, this is a great little like thing here. Let's dig into this a little bit, and like the how this is going to affect Santa and all this shit. Nope, we're moving right past that.
Right past it. And he kind of knew he
and,
was a douchebag. Santa was a douchebag anyway.
Yeah,
he knew Krampus was a better man.
He hints earlier on that you can't kill Krampus, because there's some sort of symbiotic relationship between the two of them, but it's a one line, and we never get any more of it until the very end. It's just like, the denouement of this film feels rushed.
But I wonder if when Krampus exploded and Santa died, I wonder if Krampus is fucking Mrs. Claus, whether or not Santa also orgasms.
That's the first intelligent question that's been asked.
Yeah, you know what? I agree, Bryce. Because if he was fucking Mrs. Claus, wouldn't he have felt it?
I would think so.
I would think so.
It was a very strange aspect to this story that they felt. Yeah, I would imagine that. Yeah.
But imagine the funniest thing though is if Krampus is out doing Mrs. Claus and Santa's coming down the chimney to deliver presents to little kids.
So when Krampus like orgasms, does
does it come out
is
of
it the whole
Santa,
thing?
or vice
Exactly.
versa? I'm kind of thinking that's the way it works.
And wouldn't Santa be like, this feels familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh god, how many times is Krampus getting some?
No, he's just like, Mrs. Claus?
Yeah. But then we could just go into so much detail about how he could figure out if it was Mrs. Claus. He could smell his fingers, probably, and find out. I don't know.
I don't think smell is you wouldn't be able to smell.
Transfer.
Although I guess you can feel. Why wouldn't you? I don't even know. I don't understand how this works.
If she were manually pleasuring him, he'd be like, hey, this reminds me of something.
Yeah, I've had this once before. So, Casey, what did you think? Was this as big a rage as you were hoping it was going to be?
It is a rage for me, because I can love a shitty movie, but this movie did not decide that it was a shitty movie. It was trying to be whoever was producing. I'm angry at whoever made this film.
Thank you.
I'm really angry at them. Like, I looked up their repertoire, and it was just a whole bunch of the same sort of shit, where they put no effort into it, and it was just like, we're somehow gonna make some money. And I love a shitty movie with heart. This has no heart.
Yeah, this is really, really a terrible movie. I just couldn't stop laughing at how bad some of the stuff was. It just, for me, I had fun. I was like, I wasn't watching this thinking I was in pain. I was watching this going, oh my God, I can't believe they did that, and that is stupid, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, it's insulting
It's
that this
no
gets
Santa Jaws, is what
No.
I will say. It's no
Yes.
Santa Jaws.
Yeah. Well, Krampus got some. Way to go, Krampus. Now,
You got a whole lot.
you know what time it is.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Now, my rage this week, I'm going to change things up a little bit. We're going to put Murray back of the pack. I'm stepping forward because every time I put Bryce before me, he usually has a cry fest. So I'm going to take Murray's spot, and Murray will take mine.
I like to close things, except
Yeah.
for in this case, yeah. with the
Because it's a
rages,
special
I go
Casey
first.
edition. My rage this week is I had so much hopes for Violent Night, and it didn't deliver. So that's my big rage this week. If you're going to make, well, first off, don't make a movie that's copying a bunch of other movies. And if you do it, just make Santa kill more people. And kill the people that he should have killed. He should have came in first, killed all those fucking people, took the little girl and said, we're going to put you with a real family. And then proceeded, and he should have had balls right from the start. They should have just written it so they knocked him out or did something stupid to him. Not like, oh, I'm a drunk and I can't save little children. Like, come on, what kind of Santa is that? You Santa Christmas-loving people. Santa would never do that. Santa has a heart of gold. He didn't become Santa for doing that shit. That's
Well,
my
he doesn't
rage.
kill people either.
He does. He kills them with his hammer.
Oh no, I mean,
And by hammer, I mean
the real Santa.
His
A real
hammer.
Santa doesn't kill people.
it's a hammer.
And by hammer, I mean his
penis.
hammer.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry, his hammer. Right. That's my rage. I want to see a real good Krampus event, not just a person pretending to be Krampus.
Okay.
All right. Over to you.
All right. My rage is the oversaturation of Krampus movies. Since 2013, there has been over 20 of them, and only a few of them have been any good. If you're going to feature Krampus in a movie, make it good. Krampus deserves better than some bad CGI and awful scripts that have been produced over the past decade. That's my rage.
Yeah, and what's is it Norwegian, Swedish, Finnish one? Rare Exports. The best Krampus movie ever made.
If
for
you
sure.
look on Tubi, there are no less than 7 Krampus films.
That's fine. That's what I'll be watching
Yeah,
Christmas
just on
Day.
Tubi.
Just on Tubi.
That's what I'll be watching Christmas Day.
Plus, there's like Mother Krampus and Sister
Mrs.
Krampus and Mrs.
Exact-
Krampus, and
exactly.
it's gotten out of hand.
Exactly.
And there's not probably one good German Krampus film, which is really where it should have started.
I don't know. There's a few of them. I actually, one of these days, I actually want to just pull up a German one just to see.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do Krampus right, it's the
You would
Germans.
think.
And if it's the Germans, they're going to throw in a good old-fashioned German sex party in the Krampus
There's,
movie.
I mean, I don't know. I've been watching like TikTok is wonderful for like finding these actual like Krampus festival videos. They're amazing.
Yeah.
From Eastern Europe and places that are just. I'll send you links to them.
Nice. Send it to me.
Yeah, they're really amazing. Like just like drumming and like people in these huge elaborate costumes that you can't even see their bodies. And like they're drumming and they're just like the arms are out in front. You can just see like just their hands moving, but the costume it looks like something from Jim Henson's like something from Dark Crystal.
Oh, wow.
Like they're huge, and you like so there's like no shape of a human there. It's just like this giant head with horns, and each of the heads is different, but like this giant like body, just little human hands that are coming out and like doing drumming and stuff. It's just a line of them, and like other stuff like with fire and all sorts of great stuff. It's like they do this stuff so well over there because that is their tradition.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm saying. Like it's the Americans commenting on that stuff. Like, why can't we have something like this? It's so cool.
Because you have Coke commercials.
No, there was
Turn it into Burning Man.
there
That's
was a
why.
Joel McHale Krampus that was just terrible. It was an American version.
You
Yeah.
turn it into Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course they'll throw in some Coke Bears or whatever, as opposed to
Coke
Cocaine Bear. That's a whole other story. All right, Mur, it's you.
All right.
We
Well,
pushed you to the back of the bus.
that's all right. I deserve to
Well,
be
second
back
from
on
the
bus.
back of the bus.
Well, my rage / minute, I guess, is twofold. The first is definitely rage. It's streaming services that basically buy up old, classics or old properties and hoard them. Like, well, for example, the Santa Claus. Can't find it on TV anywhere because Disney owns it.
Yep.
Charlie Brown Christmas, owned by Apple, won't be on TV.
You can come to
etc.
my house to watch it.
Etc. So, I had to do something which just made me ill just to do it.
Ah,
I had to sign up for Apple TV
yay!
just to watch Spirited, which I've been waiting for since mid-November.
Talk about your horrors.
I was supposed to watch it at my good friend Jim's place, but then stuff
I got
happened.
sick.
So I had to bite the bullet and sign up for the free trial of Apple TV, which I will be canceling tomorrow now that I've seen the movie I wanted to see.
Nice.
So yeah, and the second part was I absolutely freaking loved this movie. You,
This is not a
my
rage.
friend, you would have hated it.
Oh, Spirited?
You
I
would've-
watched it. It was
Oh, did you?
terrible.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
would
also
hate it.
watched it. It was terrible.
I absolutely loved it. I mean, I didn't like the first half hour, but
Loved
once
it.
Ryan Reynolds showed up, and I'm like, him and Will Ferrell, it was just gold. And I was pleasantly surprised by Octavia Spencer, who actually I don't like that much, but she had a hell of a voice, and I loved it. And I was crying at the end. Like
Nice.
it was
I was also
I was also
crying at
crying
the
at
end,
the
but for
end.
different reasons.
it was a Christmas musical with Ryan Reynolds, and it was a story of
It's a
Scrooge.
Broadway show.
It has,
Like-
yeah, it was a Broadway show, really.
To me, that was a Christmas gift to me. Like
Nice.
I loved it.
There, you bought your
So,
you
there
bought
you
your
go.
Christmas gift.
That is-
So there. That's my.
It was definitely made for you, Murray.
But
I
I
can't
had
deny
to
that.
go on to freaking Apple TV to see it because it did not come to theaters.
Yes.
Yet White
so
Noise,
disappointing.
which was Netflix,
Yes.
actually came to one theater in our whole city. Like,
Yes, and
but
we're
yeah,
happy about
Thank
that.
goodness.
But Apple couldn't do the same because, they suck.
All right.
Anyway, that's all I got.
So
Apple
you're
sucks
ultimately
is your rage. I got
Apple
it.
sucks is your rage. That's a good one.
That's fair.
Streaming
That's-
services suck. Which
That's
Streaming
right.
You know what I'll
services
say?
suck. Yes.
Let's.
I'll
let's
agree
face
with
it.
that. Like, I'll throw onto that. Like, you've got HBO like ditching shows that it's canceled are getting thrown off of their service,
Yeah.
so that they don't have to pay residuals to
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
things like that.
I recently found out
Sure
that
HBO.
Home Alone, which we looked up, is actually owned by, I want to say Disney.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
So again, not on TV. Although I did notice it's on Christmas Day, but yeah, I've been waiting 3 weeks for it to show up on TV. I'm like, oh, it's not going to because Disney owns it.
But you know what? Home Alone 4 is also there, Murray, so you'll get to watch that.
Yeah, that's okay. I pretty much stopped after 2.
Pretty much.
If
All right.
it's not Kevin
Pretty much.
McAllister, what's the point?
Exactly.
I always said, "What's the point?" from the beginning.
I did too.
Anyway,
Wet Bandits.
all right.
That's
then.
right.
Wet
And
bandits.
now Casey, have you built yourself up to a good rage for this?
I built myself up to a good rage. My rage, this is nothing to do with movies. It's fucking Crypto Bros.
Crypto
Sorry,
Bros.
people.
Yes,
Sorry, folks. You guys, you fucking libertarian pieces of shit who wanted unregulated things to invest in are now bitching that the government did not get involved and you lost a shitload of money.
Yep.
Suck it. This was a
This is the best.
financial tool that was developed by money launderers and
Yep.
drug dealers and rogue nations and terrorists
Yes.
as a way to transport money across different across the different states and countries and whatever to avoid legal repercussions.
Yep.
Don't be surprised that it's based on nothing and that you lost a bunch of money because people like Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and all the people who are pumping this shit up told you to invest because it was just a fucking pyramid scheme, and speculation drove the prices up, and then the bottom fell out, and now you're all bitching at the government for not having regulated it. Oh, woe is me. I had a person that I knew who was talking about investing in crypto 2 years ago. I said, don't get involved. And now we've got like all of these. You guys are in Canada. The SEC today announced that they're suing, or not suing. They're filing charges against a bunch of influencers.
Nice.
Who there's a pump and dump scheme on on stocks, and it's going to like probably roll over into crypto. These people who like pumped everything up so that the price went way up, and then they all sold off their stuff, and the Joe Blow citizen lost all their money that they invested in it because it is based on nothing. There's nothing backing it up.
Yep, I knew that right from the beginning. I'm
really fucking tired of hearing these people bitch about how they lost money.
I'm an ex-banker.
Ex-banker.
So I knew it was all bunk. And Murray, you should be concerned because Ryan Reynolds was pumping up his app, which was to buy and sell cryptocurrency.
What?
Yeah.
One of like his 10 different business ventures.
Yeah. So
50
if
fucking businesses, his mobile
500
phone
million,
business, and
yep.
his
football team,
gin.
That's
and
right.
Everything.
He's
So-
going to
Was
buy
he
the Ottawa
involved with
Senators
FTX?
too, apparently.
What's that?
Was he involved with FTX?
Maybe. He's got
Because
his
that
little...
was like Sam Bankman-Fried's thing. The thing that's going on now is because he was setting up an exchange for cryptocurrencies. And
Yeah, that's right. He did this app that allows you to opportunize off the spreads between it. So he'll be one of the first people they go after, I'm sure. But I'm sure Ryan's smart enough to. He's got old toes that will protect him.
There's probably some sort of firewall built in to protect Ryan.
That's right. Which is the important thing, because you know what? Ultimately, Canadians should always get out with nothing.
Exactly. We're not meant to have money.
Yeah.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Well, Mr. Casey, the nerdy photographer, we cannot thank you enough for being on our 3rd annual Krampus show. Woo! Yay! Krampus! Yay. Now, next year, I'm planning an all-German Krampus episode.
No.
So everybody be prepared for that. We're only going to be watching German Krampus films.
Next time I'm beating you to the punch. We're gonna have something.
You know what? How is the German Krampus episode not going to be the best?
Yeah, we'll see what happens next year.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Is it Wim Wenders?
You are not choosing all the movies next year. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Is it like Wings of Desire meets Krampus?
Yes.
yeah. Well, I did send out the list and nobody balked. So yeah, you don't balk, you don't get a say.
All right.
Right? So you can just be
I will
quiet.
happily come back whenever you guys want me.
Dude, you are always welcome to come back when we have a You know, the reason that most people won't come on our show is because we ask so much from them. It's like, not for any people, it's like, oh, Casey, we're going to be doing 3 movies. Are you in? You're like, oh, yeah.
Sure. I gotta pick one. Okay.
Yeah, you even get to pick one? Nice.
There you go.
It's got Krampus's balls. Sweet. So can you tell all our
Big, hairy
listeners?
Krampus balls.
Yeah, exactly. Tell all our listeners one more time where they can find you.
You can find the Nerdy Photographer on your preferred podcast platforms. Just look for the Nerdy Photographer podcast. You can find me online at nerdyphotographer.com or on whatever social media platforms you like at the Nerdy Photo. That's at the Nerdy Photo.
And you can find him every week on our Rage or Dare segment. So to hear his sweet, sweet voice that has brought more joy to us.
No, it hasn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, his
voice.
voice.
It has
brought
since
us
we started
joy.
the remakes bag.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Remakes bag of terror.
You are. I've never thought that I might end up in therapy, but
I fucking hate remakes.
yeah.
Yeah. So do I. So
Ugh.
keep picking them, buddy. Keep picking them.
You're driving me
I'll sing
nuts.
along.
I love it. All right. Thanks again, Casey, for being part of our extra special Krampus episode. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Find us everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage. But no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, 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 pretty please, please, please. That's it for this extra special Krampus edition. Rage on!
Rage on!